Let me cast you. Ellen used to fall into that category of people who didn't want to get married.
Low
Kilo Shele.
It's low personal question. I like this person. I really like this person. You can genuinely like somebody and not want to marry them.
At some point, I came to a point where I thought I wasn't going to get married.
Right.
I settled the idea of childbirth in my head.
Yeah.
Like I was going to have
Kids.
Kids through sperm insemination. There are banks, you know.
Okay.
I thought about that.
Coming from you. Heartbreak here and there. You know, which, by the way, I'm used to it.
You're used to what? Heartbreak.
Yes, that's the way you want to go shack me again.
Not the way you are, I never see. You sure?
Check it here and there. Some married people, they are not even partners with their spouse.
Okay.
You know, they are not even partners with their spouse. They are just tenants. They are just colleagues in the house.
Living.
They're just living
mates.
mates. They're not even partners. They don't even know what is going on in the other person's life. So what are we talking about?
It is the E.B.U.N Show, a talk show for women and the men who love them. I am Ebulomo. On this episode, I'm going to be telling you a little story. 2011 was the year I went to serve my country as a corps member in Benin, South Nigeria. But this story isn't really about the service as much as 2011 was the year someone convinced me against my resolution not to marry. Yeah. I'd made up my mind not to marry. I disliked so much the chauvinism I saw around at that time when it was just about the man. The man crosses his legs and makes every other human do his bidding. No questions. Haba. And then the hula baluik relationships I had at that time didn't help matters. I had my plans to have children via sperm insemination from a bank. But some human came and broke my resolve not to marry. I guess my resolve wasn't even that strong enough because it didn't even take a year. But see, this season has seen a rise in the number of people whose resolve is unshaken. And I'm not talking about priests or none. I'm talking about people who really do not mind to experience romantic relationships, but never committing to marriage. Hi, Ellie.
Hi, how you doing?
You're welcome on the E.B.U.N Show.
So pleased to be here.
So, see, let me cast you. Ellen used to fall into that category of people who didn't want to get married.
Low
Kilo Shele.
It's low personal question.
No, you didn't, but you changed your mind.
Did I?
Well, but let's talk from the point of view of people who really do not want to get married. Mm-hmm. One would think to love is to marry, no?
Well, I don't think so. I'm not in that school of thought. I think companionship, partnership, it's very valid. Marriage is nice when you find the right person. Mm-hmm. Partnership is also nice when you find the right person. The thing is, it's a choice if you want to do it or not. Many people will feel like when you get married and you sign that contract, there is more to it. There is more expectations, more, or what are you, okay, what's next? That what next question is something many people don't want to hear. When are you giving birth? The way people, put up the pressure. The pressure, some people don't want to have it. But when you say, oh, I'm in a relationship with this person, we're in a committed relationship, we're partners, things like that sort of ease all this pressure. But when you say, oh, I'm married to this person, they're like, okay, when are you giving birth? Where are you going to stay? These things should not be your business, honestly. I think many people try to, okay, I don't want that, so I'd rather stay here. Also, sometimes some people just don't want to do it.
Before you go to people just not wanting to do it. And we're going to get to that point because there must be reason or reasons for anything, right? And everything. Do you feel some people actually believe that marriage jinxes? That marriage will jinx what they already have?
Yeah. You know, and all of that comes down on the expectations. Some people have this family trauma. You know, this was what happened to my parents. I don't want it to happen to me. When we start to say, oh, the mother-in-law, the father-in-law, all these outside noises, you know, it might affect the relationship. You know, so when you look at these people's, oh, my parents were divorced, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. Or some people who even if their parents were together, maybe they suffered abusive environment, you know, the marital part of it. You don't want to do it like, okay, I like this person, I really like this person. You can genuinely like somebody and not want to marry them. I really like this person, I really want to be with this person, I am committed to this person, but I don't want the marriage, it's not a burden, the marriage tag. You know, so I think, yes, it's possible. You don't want to be like, it's a curse. Some people feel like it's a curse because when you're married, you know, it's just something many people don't want to do.
At some point, I came to a point where I thought I wasn't going to get married.
Right.
I settled the idea of childbirth in my head.
Yeah.
Like I was going to have
kids
through sperm insemination. There are banks, you know.
Okay.
I thought about that.
Coming from you?
Coming from me. So at that point, my reason was chauvinism.
Right.
Like a man just sits somewhere, the wife is pregnant, and it goes, that traditional, typical relationship between husband and wife, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
It was one of the things I pointed out to my husband when I met him, like, are you sure you're not the typical African man? Because I do not want that, you know? Yeah. So what are other reasons you think that you have mentioned fear, family patterns, abuse, and all of that? What are other reasons you think people just want to stay away from the idea of marriage?
I mean, I can only speak for myself, right? So from my experience, even my parents are very much together and everything. It's just, also you like your space, you know? I don't think it's something for me, you know? But, you know, moving on or getting older, I opened up a bit and I said, okay, because you know, you see all these bad people, heartbreak here and there, you know, which, by the way, I'm used to it.
You're used to what? Heartbreak?
Yes, that's the way you want to go shack me.
Not the way you are, I never see. You sure?
Check it here and there. But I tell myself that if I find, I mean, I know, I am aware that I'm not the perfect person. But if I find someone whose values, goals, aspirations
align with yours,
align with mine, maybe I'll do it. Maybe I won't. You know, so there was nothing in there for me to say, oh, this is why I don't want. But I like to be a mom. You know, I want to experience motherhood. I want to have kids. I want to take care of children who are not even mine. You know, so
I know that part of you.
Yeah. So, but for me, it has nothing to do with the family thing or the fear of failure. Of course, everybody is scared of something, and love in itself, it's a risk. If you're not ready to risk that, then you should not be in love. You know, love is a risk. Even being alone is also very hard. So you have to choose your heart.
I was going to ask the question, could one of the reasons be the fact that these are people who have never met someone who sweeps them off their feet? And I think that's the case in Ellen's case. Something must have made you change your mind.
I don't change your mind, really.
We all get to that, not we all, because,
But I mean, I am open to if I meet that person that is kind to me. Kindness goes a long way for me. That is kind to me. You know, certain things that I like, communicate with me. That is, I wouldn't say godly, honestly, but I would say kindness, because you can be godly, go to church 24 hours and still be an unpleasant person.
Religious.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Absolutely, that's the word. So extra religious. I would not say extra, but kindness is somebody who treats everybody equal. You know, you're nice to people. You don't forget yourself. You know, this is family, and family comes first. So I wouldn't say I want a religious man. I do not want a religious man. I want a kind man. A kind man is someone who would love you, you know, who would communicate with you when things are hard, who would sit you down to say, babe, that thing that you did, you fucked up. How do we work together to make it nice going forward? You know, so but a religious person might not really do that, you know. And everything, you know, we have to be honest with ourselves. Everything is not God will do it, God will do it. God will do his part. You will do your part.
Yes, definitely.
You know? So
you take responsibility.
Absolutely. So that's where I am right now.
Yeah. The irony of life, of course, now as you grow older, you see that life is full of ironies. Here on one hand, people enter into depression or get so desperate because they have crossed a certain age and they have not settled down or found the right person to settle down. On the other hand, is someone who has found love and doesn't want to marry. How do, like, what do you even say to that? And given the fact that, don't we feel that people are closed off? Like, I don't want to marry. And then, even when you meet that person who is willing, you are just set in your ways.
So, if I have, say, I have 3 children, and I meet someone who also has kids, at that point, maybe you don't want to have more kids. And you look at the whole scenario like, okay, because many people would say that they are having kids because of, they want to get married because of kids.
Of kids.
So what, at that point where that is
a
not
very,
even, you know,
silly reason
where
to
that is
want
not
to
an
be married.
option because you already have kids, you don't want more kids. And you meet somebody who is, you know, your spec. If the person says, okay, like, example, I know someone who was in love with the woman and told her that, listen, I have kids, you have kids. I like you. I don't want to get married. The guy told the lady. She was fine. But then going forward,
eventually,
she fell, because he's such a good guy. You know, she fell in love with him. And she told him that, listen, I want to get married now. They broke up. He couldn't do it. He liked her.
You've actually answered one of my questions of when, in this case, they started off with an agreement of we're not going to get married. But it gets to a point that one wants to get married. You know, and the other doesn't want to.
As much as he loved her, he couldn't do it.
Bring himself to
no,
marry.
because he's like, I like you, but
what do we then call this long committed relationship without marriage? What name do we call it?
Partnership.
Partnership.
Yes.
As in business partnership.
No, partnership.
Emotional partnership.
Emotion in all ways. See, some people, some married people, they are not even partners with their spouse.
Okay.
You know, they are not even partners with their spouse. They are just tenants. They are just colleagues in the house.
They're
just living mates. They're not even partners. They don't even know what is going on in the other person's life. So what are we talking about? Choose your demon or choose your angel. Whether with the signed contract of marriage or without. If you meet the other person and you like the person wants to go forward with the marriage thing, and if it's something you also want, why not? But if I don't want it, I don't want it.
But is that then not an excuse for open relationship?
No.
Where you don't take responsibility?
No.
I'm not married to you. I can just go out.
You can as well get that in the marriage. There are people married and have who got that open relationship option. Committed relationship is, I like you. We are not going outside this relationship, which is me and you for life, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so if that exclusivity is there, then why not just push it into my, like, I mean, we're exclusive.
No, marriage doesn't even give you exclusivity. It doesn't give that. It doesn't guarantee that. It doesn't assure that. So I think it's all in our heads. Like, we are already programmed in a way that this is what our forefathers have been doing. Therefore, this is just the normal way of life, or this is what it should be. By the way, marriage is very beautiful. You know, it is so beautiful. If only if you meet the right person, the idea of who is even the right person, you know, the right person is the right person. The right person for me might be different from
definitely.
you know. So if marriage doesn't change anything, if you want to be exclusive, if you want partnership, if you want faithfulness, it doesn't give you all of this. It doesn't guarantee all of this. It should, you know, ideally it should.
It should, yeah.
But it
doesn't.
It doesn't guarantee that.
It could even be the high rate of divorce and bad marriages
Absolutely.
that has given rise to the number of, let's just be partners that we see these days. Yeah. Okay, so marriage.
Yes, please.
Over the years, once you're married, like, we just expect that you're exclusive. No matter, you know, even for the vows, for better, for worse, you know, you stick to it. What do you think has happened to marriage over the years that has made it less appealing to people?
Over the years, I think independence,
feminism.
Okay, I would not 100% agree with that, because many people just tweak the term
feminism for what they want.
Yes, for what pleases them.
Yes.
And pleasing them in terms of, at the moment, is that nowness of things, you know, because when you're asking some feminists that, okay, I'm a feminist, by the way, proudly. So when you're asking people that, okay, a man should do this, a man should do that, then when you ask them, what do you give in return? You know, then you're like, a man should, no, you are tweaking it. It's 50-50, Abi. Okay, what are you doing as well?
Equity,
you know, are you going to do this as well? So I would say that, I wouldn't say feminism has ruined marriage. I would say independence, as much as it's good, you feel like you can do all of this by yourself, you know, and it is tough, you know. A man is supposed to do his part, and you as a woman should do your part. You know, there should be checks and balances in a relationship and in a marriage. Now, another thing is overly exposed to social media. You know, before, I want to believe that when my mother and my father were together, there was no social media. So you don't see that your ex snapping you on social media.
And then you start testing. Yes,
like, okay,
true.
This still looks good. You know. And
then you want to go back.
And then you want to go back. Another thing I would say is, you know, why is this person comparison? You're comparing your life with your friend's life because of what they post on social media, because of what they tell you. Sometimes it's true, it's a lie.
We don't know.
Honestly, they're telling you that my husband bought
is a lie. Yes, we know. But you know, people are just gullible.
Yeah.
People are just gullible and at their own detriment. Let's go on.
So I would say that these are the factors. As much as independent, it's very nice for a woman or a man to be independent. We are all, you know, striving for that, to be able to say, okay, this is a bad marriage, I'm leaving. So that's the things that, one of the things that independence or having your own money does, you know, is, oh, this is a bad marriage, I don't want to be in this space, I'm leaving. You know,
I think some people have misinterpreted independence. Yes, I do not support that a woman should be overly dependent on the man.
Yeah.
It is quite irresponsible.
Absolutely.
But you know, people don't want to be checked. You want to come in anytime.
Yeah.
I understand that there shouldn't be someone somewhere saying, this is where you cannot go. But I mean, that should be mutual. I should be able to look out for you. I don't think this is right. Okay. If we say we are together, I feel that if there is a time, we have values in the family, and you're supposed to be home at so time, and then you don't want someone to question you. I think that is why we find a lot of people who even, they're married but live separately. Because I mean, you can't tell me
what to do. Yeah. I mean, I was single for a long time before I met my partner, by the way, partner. So, because I was single for that long time, when we got together and we started talking, I I want to do what I want to do. Where are you going to? I'm going to see my friend. I'm not giving details. I wasn't giving details, but he told me. But when I say, what are you doing? He's sending me a picture. He's not just telling me. So I was like, see, that's what they do for you. So, with time, he told me that, listen, this can't work like that. So with time, I started opening up and like, oh, I'm seeing this person. This is my friend's name, the person I'm meeting. Even if it's a guy, I'm telling, It's very hard, Sha, It's very hard. So sometimes I feel like you should be lenient, but I think you owe your partner explanation. I don't care. Now I don't care what. Just talk, communicate with the person. This is where I'm going. I'm meeting this person. We're going to this restaurant. Because also, for protection's sake, life is very, tricky these days with all this kidnapping and whatnot. So if you should be accountable to one person. It's also something many people are, they don't understand is accountability is very important. It's as important as that communication. It's as important as that kindness. It's as important as that God-fearing, general. Because all Joro to Joro these days is a generous man. Means, when they give you money,
But then you don't care about other things. Eventually,
he's a generous man.
Yeah.
Of course, I mean, what Yoruba would say, "Nkoto soyinpo lo matunika." But if it was the money that soyinpo, when the money finishes now, so
when it's not enough.
When it's not enough, because if somebody is giving you 1,000 naira today, and that's a lot of money, by the way. If one day you now see somebody that will give you 10,000 naira,
you check out.
If that 1,000 naira is the only reason you're with that person, you go leave them, go the 10,000 naira home. It's a movement. So in our partner, I think they should be more than that generous, and that's is giving me money.
It should be well-rounded.
Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you so much, Ellen, for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And the conversation continues in the comment section. What do you feel about being in a romantic relationship?
What do you feel about it?
What do I feel?
Yes.
I'm married.
You're not doing that, but but in general, because even in your marriage, I want to believe there are some things you're like, why? You see things, you hear things.
See, the truth is, you cannot have everything perfect.
Absolutely.
As in your work. You want a better job. Do you understand? What keeps a person in marriage is the commitment.
Yeah.
And understanding, mutual understanding that this and this and this is these are the things that define me.
Yeah.
You don't cross them. You respect them. I respect them. So every other thing, you're cool with it because you didn't just, like you said, you didn't just put it in your head that it's all about the money or all about when the going is good.
Absolutely.
So my own resolve bended since 2011.
Some of you are too lucky. You're too lucky, but
it's the way she said some of you.
Let me
just leave it at that.
We thank God for you. And we're not jealous.
As I was saying before, Ellen became the interviewer.
Sorry about that.
The second part of this show is the comment section. What do you feel about not wanting to commit to marriage? Are you such a person who believes in it? What are your reasons? We're not criticizing. We just want to know. Yeah. Thank you for joining the show. We'll continue in the comment section. Bye.
Bye.
Most people nowadays just date for the transactional benefits here. And if I see somebody else that is offering me more, I would move to him now. I feel like it was what I heard, like what this guy told me recently. I know say I don't get money, but this your bobo, I get money pass Sam.
That is what I am saying. So someone cannot come home for something as important as marriage, engagement,
they don't have
introduction.
The luxury in terms of
then stay there.
The visa, probably they are not
so
yet
if
allowed
after
to
the
leave.
introduction, the visa doesn't come, what happens? And why should an illegal immigrant marry?
No, now don't say that. Now don't say that.